It seems like every year when I do Animation Explosion, there's always a movie I usually don't like as much as others. For 2017, it was the My Little Pony movie, 2018 was definitely Ralph Breaks the Internet, and this year that movie is Missing Link. Okay, just hear me out. I know this movie won the Golden Globe Award for Best Animated Feature, but ever since I saw the movie, I gotta admit, I never understood the hype behind it. It's not like this is the first Laika film to get that different response from me. Kubo and the Two Strings is a film everybody adores, and I thought it was just okay. And in Missing Link's defense, I certainly don't think the movie is awful, it just has too many flaws to prevent it from being anything spectacular. An eccentric man, played by Hugh Jackman, loves to discover mythical creatures. One day he wants to join a group of adventurers, but they turn him away. When he discovers the location of Sasquatch, he makes a bet with the leader that if he can bring him evidence, then he can join the club. To his surprise, and not really to mine, the legendary Sasquatch named Mr. Link can talk and wants to find his family. So right off the bat, this movie has a lot to differentiate itself from Laika's other films. Instead of going for a more serious, dark thriller film, they decide to steer towards a more comedy and down-to-earth storyline. I mean, this movie doesn't even focus on a child, which other Laika movies have done. Which I'm all for if this proves that Laika can focus on a different genre of filmmaking rather than the standard they've adapted to for years. Something good can come out of it. But there also lies the problem. Because this movie is going for a different storytelling style, it doesn't have the same unique twists and surprises that have made other Laika films so strong, especially those like Coraline. And that's because Missing Link is filled with a lot of generic, cliched, and boring plot twists that bring it down. Hugh Jackman's character suffers the same old character needs to become less selfish thing, which feels very reminiscent of films like Cars and The Emperor's New Groove. But whereas the latter film did a solid job introducing Kuzco as a funny character and subtle hints of his change into a better person, Jackman's character arc feels very forced and not all that developed. And of course, this movie's going to hit those points when it needs to, ultimately making his arc feel rushed, unpaced, and empty. Hell, by the time he starts learning to be a better person, it's only after he's told to stop being selfish. I'm sorry, but how is that a redeeming character arc? And the adventure itself, it should be a lot better than this. This movie has gorgeous, beautiful animation and set pieces, but it just doesn't feel that exciting. It just seems like it's trying to indulge audiences with its nice set pieces, yet offers nothing else exciting in the long run. I mean, I've mentioned in the past that good animation can't save a weak script. Also, just take a wild guess what the villain wants to do. He's too full of himself, he wants to take all the fame, so he sends an assassin to try and hunt down the trio. How many times have I seen this villain trope before? It's not engaging or funny, it's just there because the movie needs a villain. I always felt the threat of this movie should have been the journey itself, not that some assassin is trying to hunt them down. That's like what How to Train Your Dragon 3 did. However, I shouldn't let people get the impression that I hate this movie. I really don't. Even though the story has been done to death before and the set pieces aren't that exciting, it's not like it was a story that annoyed me. And unlike Wonder Park, there are more nice scenes this time around. Hell, most of the charm comes from the character of Link himself. I enjoy his naivety to human culture, and I admire the reason why he refers to himself as Susan. He also holds some of the funniest gags in the movie, so much so that I actually cared about his goal to find a family. And yes, like I said before, the animation is beautiful. It's amazing how far Laika have come with their character design and movement. You almost swear this wasn't stop motion at all. But unfortunately, as good as some elements of the movie can get, it isn't enough to save it. The honest truth is, if I actually did like this movie, I probably wouldn't have been so disappointed that it won that one award. But in a year where we've had other vastly superior animated movies, I feel this was the weakest film to get that award. I'm all for Laika finally winning an award like this, but it would have felt more earned if it was a movie that I actually liked. Again, I don't think Missing Link is bad, but it's nothing special to make it stand out as one of Laika's best efforts. It's predictable and cliched in a lot of areas, and the good parts aren't enough to make up for how bored I was. If you enjoy it, more power to you, but for me, I'm better off keeping this one a mystery for now.